And now for what you all are waiting for, the actual
Ooh.
hands-on of the
Boom,
OnePlus
boom,
Watch
boom,
2.
boom,
Does it actually live up to
boom.
the hype? So I've had the device in its black steel finish for about 6 days now. So while I can't offer a full review, I can share some detailed first impressions. First things first, how does it actually feel to use? Well, it is considerably larger than my Pixel Watch 2, which I have right here. It might not be that easy to
Chonker.
see in this, but it's chunker. Yeah,
Hmm.
it is
It is.
much wider. But surprisingly, it doesn't actually bother me, mostly because I do have big wrists. So even though it has a 47 millimeter case size and is heavier to wear, I've been able to wear 24/7 without much issue, even while sleeping. I do plan on changing this default 22 millimeter rubber strap with a third party one. I like those soft nylon Velcro straps like the one I have here for the Pixel Watch 2. I just prefer the comfort of those things, so I'm going to switch that out. And it does support third party watch bands, so you can do that. In terms of the actual hardware, it has this circular display. It does have like some thick bezels. It's not like curved. It's a completely flat display. It has two buttons on the side, a a home button here, and a multifunction button down here. The home button is in the form of a rotating crown, and you can rotate it, but when you rotate it, it doesn't actually do anything. Like it doesn't actually scroll your notifications or do anything, which is kind of weird. But it doesn't really bother me that much. I don't really use the crown. But if you go into settings, you can remap what the buttons do. Because right now, by default, they do the typical Wear OS actions. You can long press the home to open Assistant, double tap the multifunction button to open Wallet. And speaking of things you can change, the app list by default is a Watch OS style app grid, which I know like will make some of you roll your eyes, like, oh, of course they had to copy Apple on that.
Hmm.
But fortunately, you can go into settings and change it to a grid or list view. And as you can saw, if you're watching the video feed, performance has been really snappy for me. Like I haven't noticed any noticeable transitions when switching between Wear OS and RTOS. It's pretty seamless as Google and OnePlus are advertising. Like when you get a notification, it's technically running on the RTOS, but like you don't even notice it when you're actually interacting with a notification or sending a reply or anything like that. You can manually access the R2S by entering power saving mode. I'm not going to do that right here because that actually requires a reboot, so I don't want to make you wait for that. But if I were to show you, it basically looks exactly like Wear OS, except you can't access Wear OS apps, and some features like Smart Reply, oxygen saturation tracking, voice guidance, and some watch faces and complications just aren't available. Now, the battery life, which is the key gimmick, the key feature of the OnePlus Watch 2. It's been nothing short of amazing for me. On the first cycle alone, it lasted 75 hours in smart mode, and that included all the setup time that I had for this watch, downloading the software, downloading a whole bunch of apps from Google Play, downloaded an entire YouTube music library for offline playback, did about like 2 hours of outdoor GPS tracking with music playback, and in the end, like when the watch dropped down to 10% battery, it automatically triggered power saving mode for me. And then when I left it on overnight in power saving mode, it didn't drop a single percent when I went to bed and then woke up like 10 hours later. It's worth noting that a lot of features like AOD, oxygen saturation, monitoring during sleep, they're not enabled by default when in the default mode with Smart Saver mode. But I would wager that this is basically a 3 to 4 day watch with all its default settings. But if you enable everything like AOD and all those sensors, I could imagine this lasted 2 full days with everything enabled. But I need to actually do more testing to verify that. Regardless, because of how fast it charges, I don't think it really matters like whether it lasts 2, 3, or 4 days. Like because you can plug it in for an hour into this charger right here. It
I was about
connects
to
like
ask you about the
magnetically.
charger. That looks
Yeah,
that looks like a really good charger.
yeah, it connects pretty seamlessly. It even supports USB data transfer. If you're a developer, you'll be happy to hear that. And only about an hour is needed to fully charge it. Like I think I left it on the charger for like 50 minutes and it reached 80% from just 0%. And that was with a non-ideal charger. I plugged it into my computer's USB port because I just couldn't bother because this cable is not very long, so I didn't want to plug it into a wall.
But hang on. I mean, the time the charge is great, but show the charger again though. I'm harping on the charger because the miserable experience of the Google Pixel Watch 2. Does that disconnect from the cable? So the little puck?
Yes, it does. It's not. It's not.
So all you need to do is bring that puck with you, and
Yep.
you're.
Oh yeah.
That's so cool.
That's
Yeah,
so
and it's
great.
a
Yeah.
USB-C insert that goes into the puck.
So you just
Yep.
bring whatever USB-C cable on the road that you use to charge your phone, and you bring that puck, and you could swap it out very easily. That's so much better than this. Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah. Good
Yeah,
job,
that's true.
OnePlus.
But
Yeah.
but I will also say, the annoying aspect of the Pixel Watch charger or puck or whatever,
Yeah.
that it's kind of floppy and,
Yeah,
and
the
whatever. You got to line it up
visibility.
right. I mean,
Mhm.
you have the same thing here. It's just
Oh,
But
okay.
it looks
That's
like
fun.
it looks a little
these
more
things just like
formidable, and
that.
it looks a little more easier to line up, and it looks a little more. I don't know. That looks like I would rather have that over the Pixel Watch 2 one. So
And just some final thoughts. If I had to mention any complaints, it's that software support is limited to 2 years, which compared to the Galaxy Watch and Pixel Watch is less than what they offer. Some niceties like Do Not Disturb mode doesn't sync with a non OnePlus phone that I have paired to it. The vibration strength is pretty weak. The speaker isn't that loud, so I couldn't really take a call in a busy place like a Costco. And auto workout detection just didn't work the time I tried it. Although like I said, I've only had it for a couple of days, so I need to test it out more. Everything else I tested, like I did verify, was pretty accurate, like GPS tracking, sleep detection, step counter, the heart rate and oxygen saturation sensors. But like I said, I need to spend more time with this device to really offer a definitive review on it. But just in the brief period that I've had it so far, it's already become my favorite Wear OS smartwatch. And I'll definitely keep using this over my Pixel Watch 2 for the foreseeable future.